Can everyone see my screen?
I can.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Um, so thank you everyone for joining. This will be recorded, so you can always view it in our YouTube or we can share a link with you. Today we're going to be walking through how the Rover AI technical support assistant could enhance your support experience. This session is designed to give you a clear understanding of what the assistant does, how it works alongside our engineering team, and how it can benefit you day to day. So, what is the support assistant? The support assistant is an AI assistant that's tied to our documentation portal, docs.zoomassist.com. And so what it will do is, you could imagine if you're looking for documentation on sales orders, you're scrubbing through the documentation site and you're trying to comb through and find relevant information. So what this will do is it'll give you a one-stop shop where you can pull up the assistant, you can ask it questions, it'll scrub through the documentation and give you any relevant information or links. Um, and I'll be going over this and demoing it in a bit. And so that's one way of accessing it through docs.zoomassist.com. On the bottom right of the page, you'll see a button to launch the AI assistant, and you can use that to engage and have conversations with it. The second way is if you email help@zoomassist.com to create a support ticket, as many of you have done in the past. What has changed is now the request will go through our AI assistant and it'll try to find any relevant information that could help you in real time. And it'll share that back with you with some recommendations or documentation that it's found. And a ticket will still be created. An engineer on our team will still be assigned to it and will still be engaged with you. This is more of a supplemental method to gain quick information. So the reasons for why this is beneficial, as I was mentioning before, is you get faster response times with less waiting, consistent high quality answers. It's available 24/7. It'll help gather information that's needed for our engineering team. There might be information that's missing in the request that the agent will ask for. Um, and so that will give our engineering team more information and power to be able to support. And then it'll also help with a more streamlined and efficient support process. So just to be clear, the AI assistant, it's a powerful supplement. It's not to replace support. It's not to try to tackle the support tickets on its own. It's really just supplemental to our engineering team, and it can help handle quick questions, provide guidance, and gather details. Um, and for any complex request or anything that involves, for example, modifications or custom processes, that's still going to be handled with our engineering team. That requires any custom program evaluation, deep technical analysis, expert troubleshooting. So the next thing is just understanding what are the limitations of the assistant. So the assistant does not have access to customer custom programs or customer specific data. This ensures privacy and security. It relies solely on standard product documentation. So the way you can tell if you're asking a question about a standard or a custom program, is if you look at the is, for example, with so.e, the .e represents dot entry. If you're asking a question about a program that has a C, the letter C in it, for example, so.ce, the C represents custom. So if you're asking a question to the assistant, for example, about so.ce, it will let you know uh, that it's providing you information about standard so.e and that your version of so.e or so.ce may have customizations that affect the answers that the agent is providing. And this is where custom built assistants in Rover AI can help. So we are also offering our customers the ability to add on a product called Rover AI. And what that would do is it would give you your own environment of Rover AI and a Rover AI support assistant that has access to your code, it has access to your data, and you can ask it questions and it'll give you answers based on your environment. And it's tailored to helping you with real-time answers. So some use case examples for using the AI assistant, troubleshooting common Rover ERP errors. It helps provide quick guidance for frequent issues and known resolutions. So if we have a knowledge base article that's been posted, it'll scrub through it and provide uh, the information right away. It can guide you through configuration steps. It can help explain standard product functionality. We've heard a lot from customers where they've been using the system and they have access to certain modules within the system and they don't have access to everything. So a lot of times they're surprised when they find out that there's certain modules that exist within Rover that they had no idea about. So this is a great way without opening up security to understand what modules are in Rover, what you can utilize, what's something new that has been added to standard product that you may not be familiar with. And so what I'll do is open it up to questions, and then I'll move on to showcasing the AI assistant uh, to see if anyone has any questions or if we have any feedback.
When you say it, the AI that the customer purchases to run against their database, is there any documentation that it's running against also? Or does it like search customer, then docs.zoomassist?
Yeah, so it would still have access to docs.zoomassist, but the difference is that, for example, right now, our AI assistant, it's tied to docs.zoomassist, but if a customer was to add on Rover AI, it would be tied to their ERP. So they can ask it questions about sales orders, for example,
Right.
any active orders. They can ask questions about, AR, AP. All of that would be also tied to permissions. So you can select which users can ask questions about which modules. But the difference would be that it would still have access to docs, but it would now also have access to their specific data and also their specific codes and customizations.
So,
So if there's a modification, for example, in so.e that affects sales tax, the AI assistant would have context for it and it would provide answers based on that modification. And also it can comb through all the data. So for example, you can ask it, tell me all the open sales orders for customer X, or tell me what the sales trends are for the last 3 years for customer Z.
Uh, that answered my question.
Hi, Mohit. One very quick question. So you mentioned that it would be possible to limit access to specific users. So let's say
Yes.
that somebody from finance is asking questions about sales orders or something like that. So is that going to be controlled, I guess, and not allow people from other areas to probably access information that you don't want to?
Yeah, that's correct. So
Okay,
Javier, I think the best way to describe it is if you think of like Rover BI or Power BI,
right.
you can limit access to certain data sets. So
Mhm.
for example, if you have a user in Rover BI and you've given them access to the accounting modules like datasets AR, AP, if they ask a question like which customer has the highest account balance, they'll get a response. But if a different employee that only has access to manufacturing modules is asking a question about accounting or anything tied to it, it will tell it that it does not have access.
Okay,
So the access is based on data sets and Rover files. So, in Rover you have the AR file, the AP file, the SO file, RMA file. So you can add permissions granularly based on those different data sets. Or you can also have power users, super admin users, just like in the Rover ERP desktop client. You can have an admin or programmer account that has access to everything.
okay. And what if you don't have raw VI? Is that going to work?
Yeah, so if you don't have Rover BI, we can still make it work. So that would just be a conversation with our sales team and implementations team on getting it to work. So like in your case, you're using the Rover desktop client.
Right.
So we would be able to get that working.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. So what I'm going to do is just showcase, really quickly the AI assistant and how you can access it. So a lot of people are not familiar as well that we have a documentation site. So docs.zoomassist.com is where we host product documentation. So depending on the application that you're using, for example, Rover Pay, Rover BI, the AI assistant, point of sale, scan, some different web modules. We also have desktop documentation, Rover ERP docs. So we have all the different modules listed here. We also have web-specific documentation for Rover Business Suite. So the way you would access the AI assistant is right here on the bottom right. If you click it, a pop-up will come out. And so you can ask it different questions, like for example, how do I void a check? Just a very basic question. And it's based on standard product documentation. So of course, this would depend on your workflow, on your specific environment and your process. But just very basic, you get a response back that in Rover ERP, you can use checks.e2, and then it also gives you a step by step. It'll also give you a link that you can use to get more information, and it's you can have a conversation with it. You can ask it additional questions. Here's some additional references that it points out to use checks.p5 for mass voiding and deleting check procedures, or for reporting checks.r3. So another question you can ask is, what program can I use to receive RMAs? And this is very beneficial for new employees, new users, or just employees that are looking for different functionality. in the program. So you can see here it came back with RMA.e to log the RMA. To receive the RMA, use RMA-rec.e or E2, and it gives you a description of what those programs do. So again, this is based on standard product documentation. If this was tied to your system, it would tell you to use the different custom programs that you have in place, and it would have context for the mods you have in place, and it'll give you feedback on that process. Um, and the other thing is if you email help@Zoomassist, it's the same concept, except you'll receive an email back with an automated response with the response from the support assistant, and it will give you a disclaimer. If you're asking a question about a custom program, it'll let you know this documentation is based on standard product. Or if you're asking a question that it does not have context for, it'll also let you know that. The difference with the email is it's not going to be as interactive, where you can continue asking it different questions or just have a back and forth conversation with it as quickly as you can on docs.zoomassist. And we also want to open it up for everyone, where if you're accessing this, you're having conversations, if you're not receiving the best response or accurate information, or if there's things you would like to see or for this to do, please share that feedback. You can email me, you can email help@zoomassist.com, sales@zoomassist.com. We're open for feedback there. Any questions?
Yeah, Mohit, very good questions. And just to make sure I clearly understand regarding the modifications. So you mentioned this will be answering on kind of like a, standard functionality based, right?
Correct.
If you do have modifications on some of the commands, right? So is it going to answer you based on the modifications that you have on that program, or is it just like a standard functionality only?
Yeah, so the way you could think about it is right now, like for example, if you access docs.zoomassist, that's not going to have any context for whatever modifications you have in your system.
Right.
But if you were to deploy Rover AI for your account, it would not, I mean, that would become standard product for the AI system. Every program that you have within your system, the assistant would have context for, and it would understand. I mean, it wouldn't know the difference really between standard product or what you have. So whatever you have in your system would be considered for the assistant standard product, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because it would have context for the code, it would have context for whatever changes are in there. So if you were to ask it a question, it would give you relevant information on exactly how that program works, regardless of what mods are in there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Jake and Allison, anything you'd like to add?
I was just wondering, like from the business suite, if we could show them that, or if you have it plugged into yours, but I don't know if that's in your script to show people anyway.
The business suite, what do you mean by that?
From the browser itself. I don't know if people here are using the browser version. And in the dashboards, oftentimes, like in our demo one, I believe I haven't logged into it for a little while, but the demo one, we can ask the questions inside of the browser and hit the same repository for the documentation.
Sure. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, and I can try and pull it up on my end too. Uh,
Okay. So if everyone can see my screen, this is what Jake is referring to. So we have this demo environment for our AI assistants. So this is what uh, that interface would look like. So you can see here we have a few different assistants that we've created. So if we go into support assistant, this is what the interface would look like if you were to sign up for Rover AI. And so this would have, you can see on the left side here, we have chat, access, comments usage. So you can control access granularly. You can also create different assistants. You're not limited to just one. Um, and so in here, you can ask it questions, right? Tell me about cache.e, and you'll get that same response um, that you did. And then you can also add custom questions. So if you notice, for example, that your users are asking a lot of questions about certain things, you can have those float here at the bottom. So there's easy access.
yeah, I just wanted to point out that when you have the browser-based version, that shows up as an option everywhere.
Yes. Yep, that's right. And yeah, I mean, you can, just like how we were doing before, you can ask it different questions. You have the ability with Rover AI to have different assistants connected to different data sets. So if you wanted, for example, to create an assistant that helps with creating expense reports, you could do that. Um, there's a lot of different ways of using it. The most common or the most asked about has been support assistant, just because um, with the ERP, there's a lot of customizations and a lot of uh, knowledge that gets passed on from user to user. So just having the ability to ask it questions, and it has familiarity with your system and your mods, it's really priceless.
Yeah, that's just what I wanted to show people, that if you do have the web version, it can plug in and you can ask the questions while you're
Correct, yeah.
in the client, and it will interact with what he's talking about, your data.
Yep. And you can also tweak the instructions, so you can give it instructions where, for example, if there's something you don't want to be answered, you can guide the AI assistant, and you can tell it on how to answer things, or um, you can teach it how to behave in certain situations, or if certain questions are asked, or um, it really gives you full control on how it will answer the questions or what it has access to. Anyone else with any questions, any feedback?
Very good question. Well, before that, it is very interesting, to be honest. I like it. I think it's going to help us a lot in our particular case. And just one quick question. So that AI assistant is only available in the new Rover version, right? Not in our particular case in Rapid, not the one that we have.
Correct. Yeah. So it will work with the .NET client.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And the docs too should be available to anybody. The idea was to take the burden off of support to reply as fast as possible to tickets that were created or questions that are asked.
Right.
The idea was to allow you to get the fastest response as possible. Even if you get on a phone and ask the question to somebody that picked up the phone when you called, it's faster to type it in than to pick up the phone and call.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it
Yeah.
just, to be honest, as I was looking at this, I was just thinking in our particular case, because we do have 4 manufacturing plants and 2 in America and 1 in China and 1 in Malaysia. So we basically work 24/7, right? So instead of us receiving, calls or emails from people 2 a.m. in the morning, this will help a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, good, great,
And
thank you.
and when you do have your own instance of it running on your own database, um, you can document other things and add that to the repository also, procedural things that you do.
Oh, okay,
So
great,
when somebody goes away, you still have ways to access that.
right,
And
excellent.
yeah,
All right, yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. All right. If no other questions, we can end the meeting. If you have any questions, please reach out directly to me or to help@zoomassist.com, and then we can continue the conversation. Or if you would like a more, a tailored demo, or if you'd like to talk more about just the general support assistant, or if you have any feedback on it, please reach out anytime. Alrighty.
thanks,
Thank
Mohit.
you, everyone. Hope you have a great day.